Hello children, today we will start with the lesson The Union Executive. The legislature, executive and judiciary are the three organs of the state, and all these three work together for the welfare of the people. Today in this lesson, we will try to understand the Union Executive. Now the Union government means the central government. The Union government is made up of the President, the legislature, which includes the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the executive, which comprises of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. In a parliamentary system, the executive is part of the legislature and is responsible to the legislature. India's Union Executive comprises of the President, Prime Minister, and the Council of Ministers. Let's see the first part of Union Executive, which is the President. President is the nominal and constitutional head. He is the supreme head of the state. The office of the President has the highest honor and prestige, and it represents the Republic of India. The government carries out its functions in the name of the President. The election of the President. Now, what do we mean by electoral college? The President is indirectly elected by the people of India. So, which means people do not go and vote for the President. The President is elected by the directly elected representatives of the central and state legislatures. For example, the members of Lok Sabha are directly elected by the people. People actually go and vote for these people. Same thing at the state level also. People go and vote for the MLAs at the state level. Now, the group of these parliamentarians and members of the state legislatures is known as the Electoral College. Now, it is this Electoral College which elects the President. The person who is contesting the presidential elections should be an Indian citizen and should have completed at least 35 years of age. The tenure of the President is of 5 years, which means a person can remain President for 5 years only. Now, what are the responsibilities of the President? The person elected to the position of the President has to take an oath while accepting the post. The President bears the responsibility of protecting the Constitution and ensuring that the government runs as per the Constitution. The President works in accordance with the advice given by the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, which means the President cannot independently take any decisions. He depends on the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. The responsibility of protecting the Constitution is with the President. Now, what is the process of impeachment? If the Parliament feels that the President is not working according to the Constitution, they can remove the President. This process is known as process of impeachment. Any one house can lay the charge of violation of the Constitution and the investigation of the charge is carried out by the other house. For example, if a member of Lok Sabha says that the president has not followed something from the constitution, then they can charge the president. But the investigation of this charge will be done by the Rajya Sabha. The resolution has to be passed by special, that is two-third majority of both the houses of parliament to remove the president. Now let's see what are the powers and functions of president. The first one, the president summons means he calls the meeting of parliament. Prorogue means he can discontinue the session of parliament. He can also send messages to both houses and also dissolve the parliament even before the tenure of the parliament is completed. Now, what are the powers and functions with respect to bill? Bill passed by the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha must be signed by the president to make it into a law. The president appoints the prime minister and other ministers on the recommendation of the prime minister. The president appoints the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court, governors of states, chief election commissioner, and other important officers. The president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Decisions regarding war and peace are made by the president. The president also has some judicial powers. Like the president can reduce the punishment or grant a break or reduce a sentence which is given to a person. In special conditions, he can grant pardon or can let off someone who has been sentenced on humanitarian grounds. The president also has the power to declare emergency. If there is any difficulty or danger arising in the country, the president can declare emergency. There are three types or three kinds of emergencies which are given in the Constitution: national emergency, state emergency, and financial emergency. When the president is not available, his functions are carried out by vice president. The vice president is elected by members of both the houses. Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. Prime Minister is the executive head. The Prime Minister and Council of Ministers are responsible for the administration of the country. Ministers are appointed by the President at the recommendation of the Prime Minister. The party which attains a majority in general elections nominates the leader as the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers must be members of the Parliament, meaning they have to be either part of the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. In case they are not members, they are required to get elected to the Parliament within 6 months of their appointment. The real executive powers are vested in the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers.